Now let's talk about civil liability for oil pollution damage. Uh, Civil liability for oil pollution damage (CLC Convention). It adopted on 29/11/1969 and entered into force in 1975. It took around 6 years to enter into force. Now the application. Now suppose if a ship comes in with a pollution or collision, and after that pollution or a pollution, then it defines the who is liable for that pollution, because there are a lot of other financial and economic issues which uh, comes because of the pollution. So as per this convention, which uh, defines who is liable for that pollution. As per this, this is actually the owner. The application, this is it applies to the owner. So it defines that the owner of the ship, which is who is liable for pollution, uh, oil pollution damage for a ship in the territorial sea, also that is in the territorial sea or economic uh, exclusive economic zone of a state. So just remember these things: a territorial sea only for pollutions in territorial sea, and economic exclusive economic zone. This convention applies, and it applies to the owner of the ship. Uh, Now, before that, just remember this thing, that this is because of the Torrey Canyon incident. This convention actually because of the Torrey Canyon incident. You can read or know about this Torrey Canyon from net or even in YouTube. And also, please remember this thing, that persistent fuel oil, that this applies to the persistent fuel oil. That is the fuel oil which floats for a long time on the top of the sea water. It is persistent, and it does not apply to a warship or ships operated by a state. So it applies to the owner, territorial sea, and exclusive economic zone of the state. Which, suppose if oil pollution happens there, then only it will apply. Then it does not apply to a warship or a ship operated by a state. For any pollution damage, smooth this thing. For any pollution damage, owner of the vessel is liable for the compensation. The same thing, but the claim is limited to. Now, suppose if this talks about the liability, the liable owner is liable for a pollution, but we suppose if there are a lot of liability comes for a pollution damage, there may be a lot of claims because of the loss of job by suppose if fishermen, or the loss of coral reefs, or anything so a lot of claims comes. Maybe the owner may not be able to completely settle that much huge claim. Maybe the claim may be bigger than the complete cost of the ship. So for this CLC, the claim, the liability of owner is also limited. The claim is limited, but that also there are certain conditions. These conditions are the reasonable measures taken for reinstatement of the environment, and preventive measures taken to reduce pollution. Suppose if owner, because of the pollution, the owner takes these measures, then he can limit his claims. Also, there are exceptions. Suppose if the pollution damage occurred due to war, civil war, etc., natural phenomena, or sabotage by a third party. That means deliberate destroy by a third party. Then also the owner is not liable at all. So then another one more thing: negligence or wrongful act of the government or other authority responsible for the maintenance of navigation leads. Suppose if that also, if these 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 things, then the owner is not liable. Then we talk about the limits of liability. The limits of liability: the ships up to 5,000 gross tonnage, that is 4.51 million UA. UA is units of account. The units of account is same as SDR, special drawing rights. SDR is special drawing rights. These are same. SDR is special drawing rights. These are same. So this is special drawing rights for the countries who are members of states who are members of IMF. Then this units of account is same as special drawing rights. For those who are not members of IMF, then it is 15 gold francs. 15 1 UA is 1 U0 UOA is 15 gold francs. Now 1 gold franc is 65.5 milligram of gold of some minimal fitness 900. I don't know what it is. This is a basic idea of this UA and SDR. Now the limits. Just come back to the limits of liability. Suppose if the ship of gross tonnage up to 500 gross tonnage, then 5,000, sorry, not 500, 4.51 million UA, units of account. So greater than 5,000 gross tonnage, then it will be 4.51, same 4.51 UA plus 631 UA per ton for every additional ton above 500, and there is a maximum, that is maximum is 89.77 million. Maximum is 89.77 million. This is as per now till here. Now second thing, these limits, suppose we already talked about the limits. These limits will not occur if the act is committed with the knowledge of the owner. Suppose if the act is committed, that is pollution is happened with the knowledge of the owner, or with the intention, with the knowledge that a harm will occur. The pollution is act is committed with the knowledge of owner with the intention of causing harm. Just because of the if the pollution is happened committed with the knowledge of owner, or the knowledge with that harm will occur, then this limits will not occur. Then the full liability comes upon the owner. Now suppose if a pollution incident happened. Suppose if a pollution incident happened, then obviously the ship will get arrested in that coastal state. So the owner, there will be a case, absolutely. Then there will be a lot of claims from whoever is in a loss, or whoever affected because of this pollution. Then there will be a case. So the owner, so there will be a liability. The total amount, there will be total amount which will be calculated by the coastal state administration. So this owner, so this amount, that amount the owner or his insurer shall create a fund shall create a fund equal to this total amount, and or should give a bank guarantee, which is equal to this total amount. Bank guarantee or the total amount, and so this amount shall be calculated in a national currency. The court shall distribute the amount so once to the claimants, the court or the administration, local administration. Suppose if the owner also spends expense to reduce the pollution or while because of the pollution, then he can also claims towards the fund. So he will also a claimant for the fund which he itself or his insurer uh, submitted to the court or the local administration. Once the fund, suppose if once the fund is constituted, then his ship which is already arrested shall be released. No one have the right to keep the ship arrested. The local administration or the coastal state need to release the ship. That is what this. Once the fund is constituted, then no person have the right or any other asset, and the court shall release the ship. Now talks about insurance. Now this convention requires the owner of a ship of greater than 2000 gross tonnage of a oil cargo bulk oil cargo of above 2000 tonnage should have an insurance cover till how much the amount is the maximum liability of the ship. We already talked about the maximum liability in the last page. So owner shall keep an insurance, shall take an insurance to the maximum liability of the ship. So once actually this P&I institutions give this insurance, that is known as blue card, not blue chip, blue card. Now once they got this insurance, they shall submit this insurance to a flag state if the flag state is a member of this convention. They should submit this blue card to the flag state, and then flag state will give a certificate of insurance. This is that shall be issued by the flag state or any other state. Suppose if flag state is not a party to the convention, then any other state who is party to the convention, this blue card ship can give to any other state party to the convention as a proof that ship is insured. Suppose this certificate of insurance have a validity. This validity should not be more than the validity of insurance. Now the other thing is, ship owned by a state, no need to have an insurance.